Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Couch Potato Podcast. I'm joined by a good friend of the show, Will, as him and I sit down to discuss all the latest happenings in the world of WWE and AEW. Plus, him and I sit down to discuss who we think are the 5 greatest wrestling factions of all time. Some of our choices are going to be pretty obvious. There are a couple that may surprise you. But the only way to find out is if you listen. So after the guitar riff, the Couch Potato Podcast. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Couch Potato Podcast. My name is Russ, and joining me after a few weeks off, I wanted to bring back one of our most popular guests, Mr. Will Yarborough.
What's going on, man? What's going on?
Oh, not a whole lot, man. I've kind of deviated from wrestling talk for a little bit, and I think you're one of my wrestling buddies, so kind of wanted to talk a little wrestling tonight. I haven't done it in a few weeks, especially since the NFL started.
Yeah. So let's dive into it because we missed some stuff.
Well, first off, I wanted to get your thoughts on Grand Slam. How do you feel about Moxley being the 3-time champion versus Bryan Danielson, who I thought was going to win?
So I'm actually, with everything that happened with CM Punk, I'm actually kind of glad that Moxley got the belt back because I don't know. I just, the whole Punk situation, I don't like how that went down with Mox. It's like, well, he got kicked out. He's getting, kicked out of AEW. Well, what the heck was the point of taking the belt off of Moxley for? Like, that's kind of, shortened his run. But in the end, I'm glad he got the belt back. I like Daniel Bryan, but I didn't want to see him as champion right now. I feel like Moxley, he needs to hold on to the belt.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at too. I thought it was kind of like obvious that everybody thought that Moxley was going to win, so I thought they were going to throw us a curveball and put it on Danielson, which I would have been totally cool with. But yeah, I've been of the belief since they gave it to Moxley back in June that this is the run he deserved during the pandemic because he wrestled in front of nobody for months. And then I think this
he
is
held
like
that company together.
Oh, yeah. And then the fact that now he gets to be the champion in front of a crowd, and he is so over with the crowd, man. He's got the coolest entrance in wrestling right now, I think.
Yeah, I love that entrance.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to go to an AEW show and just like oh shit, like he's gonna fucking body check me if I'm sitting in the aisle on his way. I also thought they kind of didn't go with Danielson too, just because of his injury history.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they didn't want to have another scenario where they have to take the belt off somebody again, because if it seems like if Moxley's not the champion, Punk's been hurt twice, and of course he decided to throw blows in the locker room with the Elite, but kind of gives you some stability though.
Yeah, and so like you said, he is very, like you said, he is very over with that crowd because what was the last pay-per-view going that happened? I forgot the name.
All Out.
All Out. If you paid attention, that crowd was, I'd probably say it was 50-50. Mm-hmm. They were screaming just as loud for Punk as it was for Moxley. I was like, wow, he has a lot of fans to do that in Punk's hometown. We know how they are with him. So he's got a big fan base.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that too, because I thought for sure he was going to play, he was going to be the heel. But as the match went on, the crowd started going more for Punk. But yeah, I mean, at the beginning, they were totally for Mox too.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I think MJF and Moxley seems like it's going to be a bigger money match than Danielson versus MJF. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd rather see that.
Yeah, because, I mean, MJF's kind of like the rich snob. Moxley's kind of got this gritty, has to fight and claw for everything he has, everyman persona going on. I think that kind of meshes a little bit better. Plus, they're both fantastic on the mic, where I think Bryan Danielson kind of lacks a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I can't wait for that match. Now, do you know what the stipulation is with the chip? Because it seems like at first it was going to be kind of like Money in the Bank, where he could just cash it in whenever he wants. Tony Khan said that it's kind of like that, but like he has to sanction the match. So it almost makes me wonder if like he has to announce like, okay, next week I cashing this in against you. But then MJF's also talked about, okay, I might cash this in Cincinnati, which you and I discussed before the show. I really contemplating going to that. Even though I'm going to pay for it the next day.
The way that I read that too was exactly what you said, but I was thinking about, I was like, okay, if they're kind of treating it like Money in the Bank, can he cash this in, like you said, wherever he wants? Mm-hmm. But then the other part came out. I was like, oh, well, maybe he can't do that. Maybe he has to announce like, hey, next week on AEW or this Friday on Rampage, I'm cashing my shit in. So I don't know. Like, I get kind of like why it's kind of difficult to read, because they don't want to obviously just be like WWE. But in a way, you kind of have to do that because there's really no other way without confusing the fuck out of somebody. There's not a way. You know, we know what's going to do. Cool, fine, whatever. You just got your own version. You have your own titles. You got a championship. I mean, a TV championship. I equate that to the U.S. championship. You got a WWE undisputed champ. You got an AEW champ. Same shit.
Right.
So why not do that?
I think it'd be kind of like, well, I read a story last week where I guess ticket sales for the Dynamites are really bad right now. And I think like just making that kind of like more of a Money in the Bank style cash in, I think would maybe help draw some butts in the seats a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I have to go. Maybe MJF cashes it in tonight.
Yeah. I didn't realize Dynamite was doing bad. I did not know that.
Ratings-wise, it's doing good, but Dave Meltzer, kind of the preeminent, I don't know if dirt sheet writer is the proper term for him, but yeah, he's reported like the sales for all the events in October and even like Full Gear in November are not selling that great.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when is their next big pay-per-view then?
Oh, AEW's is Full Gear. It's the 19th, which is a Saturday. Thank fucking God, because I'm sick of these 5-hour pay-per-views that go into midnight, and then I've got to be up super early on a Monday.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily I've been lucky enough to where they've fallen on holidays. But yeah, Full Gear is not on a holiday. So yeah, just like, dude, make it on a fucking Saturday. I don't understand why wrestling companies still run them on Sundays. WWE is starting to go towards a more of a Saturday model too.
Now, do they have like a Royal Rumble type pay-per-view or no?
No, I know, I forget when they did it, but Tony Khan came up with on Rampage. They did something where it's almost like they ripped off the Royal Rumble name. They call it like the Royal Rampage Battle Royal.
I think I remember seeing that a long time ago.
Yeah, I seen that. And I'm like, it's okay. I get what you're doing, but you're blatantly fucking ripping off the Royal Rumble. I mean, even down to the name. I mean, wow. I don't think. I think having just the like the Casino Royale ladder match, I think that's kind of cool. They used to do the Casino Royale Battle Royal, which is kind of like they bring in groups of people at a time. Mm-hmm. That's kind of a cool concept. They did something like that, but no, they don't have like their own Royal Rumble per se.
Well, I guess not.
But yeah, I mean, AEW's got some good stuff going on right now. Like I'm really enjoying the Bryan Danielson, Daniel Garcia, Chris Jericho Appreciation Society stuff going on.
Yeah,
digging to see what's going on.
Starting to funny to me. I like that. Yeah, and I like. See here, we got MJF and Mox. I still don't know what the hell they're gonna do. What is old dude's name? Charlotte Flair's husband's name. Andrade. Yeah. I'm surprised they still haven't used him. I'm not really a big fan of him, but I still don't know why they haven't used him.
Well, have you seen that him and Sammy Guevara talking shit to each other on Twitter?
I did see that. So that makes me think, like, why Why are y'all on? I hate Sammy Guevara.
I'm not a fan of Sammy
like
Guevara
him.
either.
I think he's corny. He's got a face. So I just want to smash it in. I don't like the dude. And I see why he's in Jericho Appreciation Society, because he couldn't carry himself alone. No.
Well, I don't understand. Like, he's made comments that's gotten him suspended. Mm-hmm. He damn near fucking killed Matt Hardy at Double or Nothing, or was that Double or Nothing or All Out?
I think it was Double or Nothing.
Yeah, he almost killed Matt Hardy. The shit with Eddie Kingston where he called him fat and caused a brawl.
Still ain't seen him on TV at all.
He just came back on Rampage last week.
Oh,
yeah, at Grand Slam, him and Sammy wrestled.
Okay.
And then, now he's starting shit with Andrade. It's like, I mean, I think he's insanely talented. I was telling a friend of mine that in-ring wise, he kind of reminds me a lot of Eddie Guerrero. But he's so fucking immature, man. It's just like he needs to grow up a little bit. I thought maybe pairing him with Jericho might do the trick, but apparently it hasn't.
No.
But see, the thing of it is, though, you let somebody like that go, I guarantee you the WWE snatches him up almost immediately.
Yep, they would.
That's the problem. It's like he kind of has him by the short and curlies right now.
I don't like the guy.
No, I'm not a fan of it either. I kind of stuck up for him for a while, but then after the comments he made, then damn near killing Matt Hardy. You and I both know, like I've spoken, I really like to see Matt Hardy give it up, but don't fucking not like that. Don't fucking kill him.
Yeah, don't kill the guy.
Just let him go on his own. And now, have you been following anything that's been going on in WWE?
A little bit, so I think it was not last week, but it was the week before that. I actually did not watch Raw. Come to find out the next day, ironically, that was that Raw episode, least amount of viewers out of the whole year. I was like, wow, I wonder what made everybody not watch it that day. And then the next week, which was last week, I was watching it, and then last night I had it on, but I really wasn't paying attention. But I am kind of looking forward to Extreme Rules. Like, there are some matches I do want to I'll check out, but I don't know. Like, I just Raw for something that's going on. Like, I remember when Triple H took over, like I felt like it was going up, but now I feel like it kind of plateaued. Like, I'm bored again. Like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's kind of how I am too. Like, I know that they set up Roman Reigns versus Logan. Is it Logan Paul or?
Yeah, Logan Paul, which is dumb. But then again, I get it because they said the Saudis, they want them high-rank people. I'm sorry, man. Fuck the people. They don't know. Why do we have to do this? Why can't y'all just get the matches that we want y'all to have? Like, they're building up a storyline. Like, y'all would be more. If I would feel like you guys are more real fans if you're in the story with us, but we got to give you WWE legends and this and that because I was reading Goldberg's not going to be a crown jewel. So
I kind of look at the crown, like the Saudi pay-per-views as like kind of like they're non-canon. They're like almost like going to like a very elaborate house show, like
a dream match. Okay.
They're like nothing's gonna happen, but like they have to pack it to the gills with like big stars. I do remember the very first one. They wanted Hulk Hogan. I think they wanted the Ultimate Warrior, which they had to tell them that the Ultimate Warrior was dead. They wanted The Undertaker, and they wanted Bill. I think they wanted Bill Goldberg for that show.
Said he is dead.
Yeah.
You're not getting him.
He ain't coming back. Sorry, guys. I don't care how much money you fucking give me. I'm not. And then we can't even get the Dollar Tree version of the Ultimate Warrior because he's dead too. Renegade, remember him?
Yes. Oh my god.
And I think that they try to pack them like with as much star power to get eyes on those as possible. And I will say Logan Paul is probably the best non-wrestler that the WWE had on their shows. He's been good both times I've seen him.
But so has Pat McAfee, though.
Pat McAfee has. And if you're going solely on who I like, everyone that knows me, at least listens to the show that knows me, knows I'm a huge Pat McAfee guy. Fucking that's what I want to be. It's Pat McAfee, but with much less and a much worse haircut, not as much charisma, definitely not any money. But I kind of the Corbin match wasn't great. It was solid, but it wasn't great. Not compared to what he had done in the past. But Logan Paul looked like a fucking natural in the ring, and I can't stand that dude. If you're listening, I highly doubt he is. Not a big fan, but he's a phenomenal in-ring performer, and I think that's primarily what it is, just put butts in seats.
I will give him that, and I will say this. If you are listening, you did not beat Floyd Mayweather. He beat you.
I didn't even watch that.
Oh, my God.
I have not – I don't – is it celebrity boxing? Would you call it that? Because technically he is an internet celebrity who has become a boxer. He's boxing guys that, truth be told, like Mayweather doesn't really need to box anymore.
See, and I feel like obviously we know he did it for the money, but I feel like he also did that just so he could stretch his legs. Like, let's see if I still got it. Dude, you still got it because you were tagging that man's head, so... Yeah, he still got it.
And he's boxing like old UFC fighters too, isn't he? Like, then he boxed Silva and then Tyron Woodley.
That's actually coming up this weekend. I think that's this weekend.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, okay, I do want to see that, and I hope Silva knocks him out. But
I do too.
I doubt that happens because if he doesn't knock him out, then I'm like, okay, I know that this is. You're building yourself up. Like, I get it, dude. Like,
I wonder if the WWE is like, please don't get knocked out. Decision.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, because, I mean, that's not going to look good selling that. Well, they don't fucking care. I'm going to look and see if that is.
He cut that promo about it. He cut a promo about it saying that this is my sport. Like, I do this. Evidently, he was a wrestler in high school. So I'm like, okay, so that's where you got your wrestling background from. So I'm all right, okay. So if he gets knocked out, then yeah, that promo is going to be worthless.
Triple H is like, God damn it, fucking throwing shit. Have you been following the White Rabbit?
Did you see the barcode last night?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. It was like a week before last. It was when Dominic Mysterio came out, and then like the TV got like super fuzzy. So I paused it and I clicked on it while I did the barcode thing. That pulled up, and I looked at it for like a little bit, and I was like, okay. And then I saw last night. So I didn't do it last night, but I'm just like, I wonder who this is. I'm really thinking it's Bray Wyatt. I'm really thinking it's Bray Wyatt.
Well, I think so too. Last night they had and when you said Dominic Mysterio, is it me or now that he's with the Judgment Day, he looks like that guy, like before when he was with his dad, he looked like that kid that has the mullet because that's a cool hip haircut. I don't personally think so. Even if I could pull it off now, I wouldn't. But now he looks like that guy that's met up with like he's hitched up with like some 48-year-old woman, and like she's kind of taught him to be a man a little bit. He throws on a little Brute.
Yeah.
Slicks it back a little bit with a little bit of pomade. Or no, actually probably LA Gear hair gel. I see that, I was like, come on, dude. Like, you're evil. Like, you basically the only thing that differentiate you from being a face and a heel is you throwing some LA looks in your fucking hair and grease back your mullet a little bit.
That's it.
But, last night they had a sign in the crowd that, like, they froze it and basically you unscramble it and it says Bray Wyatt.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder when he's going to come back.
I have a feeling, like, because it looks like the clues themselves have gotten a little bit more obvious as they've gone on. Because didn't they say something about like that pig that used to be on the Firefly Family Funhouse?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, and then this one was like kind of you unscramble the words and it says Bray Wyatt.
I'm trying and seeing that it just makes me wonder, like, what do we have coming up? We got Extreme Rules. That's this month, so that's October's. Then next month we got Crown Jewel.
And then Survivor Series.
Are they doing Survivor Series again?
Yep. Boston, actually, it's when they went on pre-sale, it almost sold out.
Okay, so that might be when I can see him, because I don't see him come back at Crown Jewel.
No, I don't think that. I think it's either because Extreme Rules is this Saturday, right?
Yeah, this Saturday.
I think it has to be this Saturday. You can't, as I think you're not going to do it at Crown Jewel because it makes no fucking sense to do it at Crown Jewel.
Yeah, at all.
It's like, okay, why have something this big at a fucking throwaway pay-per-view? Yeah. May as well do it on a fucking WWE's main event on the Peacock. But
yeah.
But if you wait till Survivor Series, that's too long, and people I think are going to get tired of it. Mm-hmm. So I think you have to do it this Saturday.
As long as Paul Heyman comes out too, I'll be happy because he's in Philly.
Ladies and gentlemen,
ACW. I just want to hear that chant one time. That's it.
Well, the Usos I would imagine, are going to have a match. Either
I thought Solo Sikoa was having a match.
Well, he might. I mean, I would imagine if it's anybody from the Bloodline, which I will say, I haven't really watched much WWE programming after the Clash at the Castle, simply because I was a little upset at the finale of that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I get why they did it, but I was a little ticked off by that. Kind of ruined a good pay-per-view, but I get why they did it. But I do watch the clips. Sami Zayn as the honorary Uso has been fucking amazing. That has been some of the best wrestling stuff, period, in the last month. Like, I fucking love it. And, like, they showed a clip.
He just had a good match, too, against AJ Styles. They were saying that could be match of the year material. They had a good match.
I think Sami Zayn,
a couple weeks ago.
Like, I don't know, like, we'll do an episode near the end of the year where we try to figure out, like, the best wrestlers of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just in terms of what he's done throughout the entire year, I think Sami Zayn deserves very strong consideration for wrestler of the year.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Because, I mean, realistically, that match with Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania, it should have been a train wreck. Actually, it was a super fun match. And I think all that goes to him.
Yeah, I like how he did that. Oh, okay.
Are you okay? I know you got your new studio set up there, which is much cooler than mine.
No, I had to get some socks. My feet getting cold.
Jeez, dude. Do you need me to send you some of them circulation socks, or is it just the fact that the temperature's dipped down?
I just had my flip flops on, man. I just got off work, I'm in chill mode.
Dude, I don't even wear I wear socks all the time now because seriously, my feet. I take my socks off. Somebody's gonna try to dip me in concrete and put me on top of a building because I have gargoyle feet. Like, I seriously, the building that in Batman, the Joker, like that church, I could easily be one of them gargoyles. Like, they would probably replace me with the one that fell off. So yeah, you will never see my feet again. Like, just hideous looking. But Sami Zayn, though, man, I think deserves a consideration for wrestler of the year. I love that Uso, like the honorary Uso stuff, and that segment from SmackDown last week where they gave him the new shirt.
I love that. I thought that was hilarious.
Now, I think that is a credit to how good Roman Reigns is as a performer. Because you realistically, when you watch that, I really thought they're going to beat him up and just you've served your purpose. We're done with you. And then they gave him the shirt and then smiled at it. I was like, oh fuck, Sami Zayn is in the bloodline now. Fucking incredible.
I think Jay, he was looking pissed off. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I think they're setting up something with the two of them. Because I think what's eventually going to happen is I think they're setting up something with involving Sammy and Kevin Owens taking him on, because I know there's a clip last week. I don't remember. I think it was from Raw where Kevin Owens makes a comment about his honorary Oos shirt. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of teasing that, like, you know, it's kind of like you have that friend that's like making, like, he's dating the woman that he shouldn't be. You know that this chick's bad for him, but, like, you're going to tell him, but you know he's not going to listen to you. Kind of like that deal. But eventually he's going to like, dude, you're right. She's fucking crazy. She took my credit cards and bought a bunch of shit. And she's sleeping with her fucking boss at work in the cooler at the Dairy Queen. And so I think that's what's eventually going to lead to like Sammy and Kevin against the bloodline of some kind, which if that happens, I did see that the WWE is going to do War Games for Survivor Series. Yes,
did see that.
Now, I have never understood why Vince McMahon would not use that concept. The War Games is like my favorite wrestling match, period. I've always loved.
Are they doing 3 rings or no?
I think it's just going to be 2 with the cages.
Okay.
And I would bet they'll probably do a women's match, which I'm almost betting is probably going to be Bayley, Io, Dakota, and then throw in whomever, I would imagine.
I'm actually kind of getting stale with that group already.
I haven't watched enough of it. It's one of those things where I wish they would just pull the trigger, do what you're going to do. Like, you're going to take the belt off Bianca, which I honestly don't think would be the greatest idea in the world.
Please don't. No.
I know they have the tag team belts right now, but yeah, it's like, okay, just do what you're going to do. I've only seen Bayley wrestle once or twice since she's come back, so it makes me wonder if she's not all the way up to 100% yet.
I don't think so, because she's kind of like got that slow pace match going on, but you know how Taker's is. His is slow, but then he get that super high real quick. Hers is just slow the whole way through.
Yeah.
Like there's a few big bumps, but it's not a lot.
You're talking about The Undertaker, like how he just is very methodical, which is essentially like that's how I move in everyday life now.
And I actually was watching an interview with him, and he was saying why he did that is because that was how he caught people's eye. Let me slow my routine down, and then I'm going to have these, like, for example, him doing his chops, and then he'll do an Irish whip, and you're out the ring, and then he'll do an Irish whip, and then he dives out of the ring. Like, a dude that size, you're seeing that, and that moment right there, that's an eye catcher. He was real, like I said, methodical with it. Like, he was like, yeah, that's how I play him all my matches. I was like, that's
see, I wish that when I was getting up off the floor, like, that's how people would, like, look at me like, oh, I'm eye-catching. But it's the fact I'm getting fucking old, and I can't get up the way I used to now. Mm-hmm. I noticed I was changing my daughter's outfit, and I got up, and when I stood up, I'm like, fuck, I'm getting up like The Undertaker does now. Like, to the knee, like
hip surgery soon.
Yeah, my hips are going bad. But yeah, it's like I seriously got up like one knee and then the second knee, and then I was up. I'm like, fuck, that's exactly how The Undertaker gets up. Yeah, a lot of cool stuff in wrestling, man. I brought you on the show tonight because you and I had talked about doing an episode like this for a while. Don't mind my dog. My dog is coming in to get water. She has had some kind of trachea issue for a while, so it sounds like she's hacking up a fur ball or a small rodent, but hopefully you don't get too much of that feedback. But yeah, she does this every time I record. But yeah, we're going to do. Damn, she's knocking shit over now. Fucking bull in a china shop. But we talked about doing the greatest wrestling factions of all time, which you are sporting an NWO Wolfpack.
Not the greatest, though. Yeah, not the greatest, but yeah, I got a Wolfpack shirt on.
Well, we'll dive into the NWO because I'm sure that they are probably on both of our lists, but.
Oh, of course.
Whenever we've done lists, we usually have 3 people on the show, and we give our list, and then we try to come up with an ultimate list off of that. So Since there's only two of us, we still do that. So starting with number 5 and working your way up to 1, who are your 5 greatest wrestling factions of all time?
Ooh. Do tag teams count?
No, there has to be at least a group of 3.
Okay, we can do that. Okay. Oh, boy. So I would probably say... wasn't around to see them like that, but I've heard the stories and I've watched a video on them. Probably say 5, the original 5, 4 Horsemen.
Oh, okay. 4 Horsemen at 5.
Yeah, I think I would put them there. So that's what we should do. How about we bounce back and forth then?
Okay.
So who would be your 5?
Number 5 for me would be the Undisputed Era.
Who was that? That was
Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish. And the only reason I have them in my top 5, I'm probably missing a bunch of teams that probably are more deserving, but I think when you think of NXT, I think that they're probably one of the 2 or 3 performers that you think of almost immediately when you think of NXT, at least the old NXT.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Adam Cole has probably been in tons of like the best matches of all time. O'Reilly and Fish were a great tag team. Roderick Strong, personality of a wet towel, phenomenal in-ring performer. But yeah, I mean, I think they're almost synonymous with the NXT brand. So that's why I have them at number 5.
Okay.
Why do you have the Horsemen at, what gives them the nod at 5 for you?
Well, you gotta respect the legends.
Mm-hmm.
I love Ric Flair. Arn Anderson was cool because I love how he used to just come out and beat chest one with that tie ride. I love that. And really, to be honest with you, I put them up there because I really like those two as wrestlers, especially Ric Flair. Love Ric Flair.
You know he's got a strand of weed out now?
Yes.
I see him smoking a J with Mike Tyson. I'm like, God damn, man, that dude does everything.
Fucking everything. And I just like Ric Flair. Ric Flair is the man.
Ric Flair's fucking awesome.
Besides that shit he pulled on the plane ride from hell, Ric Flair's the man.
Yeah. Now he's got his own weed. Who doesn't want that? I want that.
Yeah. Have my own strain. That's pretty badass.
Well, who would be number 4 for you then?
Believe it or not, it would probably be DX. I really, yeah. So growing up, I had a lot of friends. I don't want to say a lot of friends, but my friends who did watch wrestling, they were super, super big DX fans. And I was like, yeah, they're cool. I like Triple H and whatnot. But I was more of a Rock, Stone Cold guy.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't follow, Triple H, Shawn Michaels. I hate X-Pac. Yes, I hate X-Pac. I think he's corny. I don't like the dude. I didn't even like him when he was in NWO. So, yeah, I don't like X-Pac. I thought Road Dogg looked scary to me with them braids he had coming out of his damn head. I was just like, okay. But I'd put him up there at 4. That'd be 4 for me.
Okay. Number 4 for me is The Shield.
Hey. And fun fact about that whole window with the Shield, from when they started and from when they ended, I was not watching wrestling at that time, so I missed all of that.
I was so fascinated with that. I thought all 3 of those characters were super cool. They pretty much, I mean, you've got arguably Rollins, Ambrose, now John Moxley, and obviously Roman Reigns are probably 3 of the biggest stars in all of wrestling now.
Yes.
They pretty much feuded with everybody that there was to feud with. They did Cena, Punk, Triple H. They even had where they feuded with the reunited Evolution in one.
Mm-hmm.
I think they are probably, outside of Cena, probably the biggest thing to come out of the post. I don't know, the PG era of WWE. I would say, if you're ranking like the biggest performers out of that era, post Ruthless Aggression, I'd say the Shield would be at least in the top 5. Plus now, all 3 of those guys are ruling wrestling as singles competitors.
Yes.
And plus, like, man, like, they had the cool music. They came down from, like, they came down through the crowd, which, fun fact, I won tickets to a Monday Night Raw. And it's after they had reunited for the last time. And we had got stuck in traffic, and we got to the arena at 8 o'clock. And we're trying to get to our seats. Security was not letting anybody through. And we just missed Ambrose, Rollins, and Reigns walking through the crowd.
Dang.
I mean, like by 15 seconds.
Oh, man.
Because if you've ever been to the shot, it kind of like when you're walking around, like we're walking around and here's security stopping us. And they were like out that way.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And my son was like a huge fan of those guys.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Oh, yeah. That sucks, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, man, like they were my favorite performers out of that era. I mean, I loved watching them as a unit. I don't really get too excited with wrestling stuff anymore, but I did get pretty pumped when they reunited again after Rollins had turned his back. And that was a big deal when he did that, when he betrayed Rollins or Reigns and Ambrose.
Mm-hmm.
When he hit both of them with the chair and turned heel. That was huge. I mean, that was a big fucking deal. And it turned Rollins into like one of the best heels that they had for a little while. Kind of set Roman off to do his own thing. And Moxley surprisingly became a big star in WWE too.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did.
So, yeah, I got to do the Shield at 3. 4? Who would be your number 3?
The Nation of Domination.
Oh, really? You know?
Yes.
Now, pre-Rock or when The Rock joined? I would hope that would be when The Rock joined because they were kind of stale and bland before he joined.
Yeah, when The Rock joined, because he added that pizzazz to him. Yeah, when The Rock joined, because this one he started to actually like The Rock was like kind of morphing into the cool Rock, getting away from the Rocky Maivia shit, and I hated that Rock. So
yeah, I don't think anybody liked him, even when he debuted at Survivor Series. Like, oh, this guy's fucking corny.
Yeah. He was like, who is this dude?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is that shit on his like that thing he had on
his haircut, his little tassels he had going on.
That looked like some shit that they would make for a fucking like an elementary school play. And it's like, okay, you're gonna be a flower. Put this thing around your neck, and we're gonna have like construction paper draping the.
Fucking dumb. But like I said, that's when I liked him. He was starting to change. He was starting to turn into that cocky asshole. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
He was getting it.
The Nation of Domination was in my honorable mentions category because I had about 5 factions that were honorable mentions that could, if it would have been a 10, they definitely would have made the 10.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean that's a good one though, man. Like they were a big part of the Attitude Era, and like, I mean, without The Rock joining them, and he really didn't even fit like what the Nation of Domination's mission statement was.
Mm-hmm.
But he just added like just the cool factor to him, and then like of course he spawned off and became the biggest celebrity in the entire world. So,
I mean, hell, how can you not like Ron Simmons? Come on.
Oh, dude, I was a huge Ron Simmons fan.
Man, it was when he first won that. What is that? The World Heavyweight Championship. And he beat Vader. Yeah. There's a documentary called From Ghetto to Gold. You gotta check it out.
Is that on the WWE Network?
I don't think it is.
On
it's
the
on
cock?
YouTube. I've seen that though. I was like, oh, this is godlike.
I do remember that too, because then like the thing that sucked is they took it away from him a short time later.
Yeah, it was just like that's stupid.
It almost like to me it sounded like, okay, let's be the first promotion to have a black heavyweight champion, and then we're just going to take it away from him. I think they just did it to say that.
Like, man, the dude could actually wrestle. Like, you got gold on your hands right here, man. You better utilize him. Like,
I think it didn't help matters none too that the WCW was a Southern promotion, and
yep.
I'll just let that sit.
Wasn't it WCCW back then, World Class Championship Wrestling?
No, that was the Texas promotion that had the Von Erich family. WCW was formed out of the NWA.
Okay, that's what that was. Okay.
Which another Freebirds were a faction that was an honorable mention for me too, just because like they're like the early forerunners of like ring music and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was never like they were a little before my time, like during their heyday, and like, you know, they used to run like World Class on ESPN and stuff, so I didn't watch too much of it, but they were a little before my time, but still influential nonetheless. But number 3 would be the Four Horsemen.
Okay.
I think, you know, they're the guys that started it all. I mean, they were so good that they spawned kind of an imitation, 20 plus years later. I essentially think Evolution is the modern day Four Horsemen. Except Triple H became Ric Flair became J.J. Dillon, then, you know, Batista became kind of like the Arn Anderson, you know, character, then Orton was kind of like the Wyndham I'd say he was more like Barry Windham, but I mean, they were the originals, man. They're the ones that started the whole faction thing, and I mean, the fact that stable was able to last as long as it did, even though they kept switching, you know, players out besides Anderson and Flair. I mean, they're the standard bearer. I think they have to be in the top 3. I can't rank them 1 and 2 just because I think my 1 and 2 are kind of more influential, you know, in terms of like wrestling history and what it did for the business. But
I can see that. Yeah.
So who would be your number 2?
Okay. Now, because
honestly, your list has caught me completely off guard so far.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So this one is pre a certain somebody, because when this somebody, I'm going to say it, the Ministry of Darkness, before Vince McMahon.
Oh, before they became the corporate ministry?
Yes. Before Vince McMahon.
Okay, why do you have them ranked so high?
One, you may think I'm fucking crazy for this. They're actually my
I think you're fucking crazy already, but that's why we're friends.
The Brood, they were part of them. I liked Viscera at the time, even though I didn't realize that was King Mabel back in the day.
Big Vis.
And 2, I like not 2. And 1, I was a big Taker fan, so I was like, oh, whatever the fuck he does, I'm following. Oh, he's got like a whole cult full of people. I like that shit. That's what I like. And they used to actually scare the hell out of me when I was a kid, but I still watched them anyways.
Yeah, I didn't like it when it became the corporate ministry because it kind of like, okay.
No, it killed it. Right then and there, I was like, okay, this is dumb.
Yeah, because... Yeah, because it took away a lot of the like you said, like the creepiness, like the horror factor. When Vince McMahon was the one running the show, it's like, okay, we're rehashing Austin McMahon again.
Dumb.
But number 2 for me would be D-Generation X.
I want to hear why.
Well, I think when you think of the Attitude Era, I think in terms of like the themes and the language and the shit that they were able to get away with, I think that's because of D-Generation X.
Yeah.
I mean, they pretty much spawned the Attitude Era, along with like Austin and The Rock. But I mean, them doing what they did, I think is what, and I think how successful they were at it. I think at Vince McMahon's like, okay, I can probably do something with this, and it kind of made their product different than what WCW was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, WCW is kind of like more adult oriented too, but WCW is if you're watching like an episode of Law and Order on TNT, and then like if you're watching WWE, it's like watching The fucking Wire on HBO. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Compelling stuff, but like you're not getting a lot of the stuff on Law and Order that you get on The Wire.
You're not getting saber boot titties. You're not getting that. No.
But yeah, I just think that them spawning, the Attitude Era, which saved the WWE from extinction. I mean, WCW is kicking the shit out of it. Mm-hmm. And, they were able to use what they allowed Michaels to do. And I think Shawn Michaels being able to, basically Vince McMahon was afraid to stand up to him. So he kind of let him do what he wanted. I mean, I don't know some of the backstage stuff. It might be one of those things where like they're working hand in hand, but I think a lot of it was just Shawn was like, okay, I'm going to do what I want. I dare them to try to fire me. And then, oh, fuck it. This is working. People are like gravitating towards this.
So it's kind of bad though when you think about it, because all the times like when I would hear about that is like that's when they were saying Shawn Michaels was in a dark place and like he didn't give a fuck. So I was like, you guys kind of enabled him to have that, and it damaged him for a little bit. And then he retired, came back, and he was like a whole different person. I was like, I guess he found God or something. So,
well, you can tell like that match he had with Austin at WrestleMania 14. You could tell he's fucking loaded up on something.
Oh yeah, he didn't care.
Yeah,
he didn't give a fuck.
And I think too with DX, I mean, when you think of the Attitude Era, like I said, besides Austin and The Rock, they were obviously the most popular act of that whole era. I mean, when you went to a WWE show, chances are you're either seeing a Rock shirt, an Austin shirt, or a DX shirt.
Mm-hmm. Or three.
Oh. All right. I think number one shouldn't be any surprise considering what you're rocking and where I'm going to. So who is number one?
NWO.
Yeah.
Period. Even though it was the death of WCW.
Well, I think with them it's more of they're the ones that started the modern day. Oh shit, I'm trying to write stuff down and my phone's gone out of control. I thought Judgment Day was last month. But no, like the arguably the biggest era in professional wrestling started when Scott Hall hopped over the guardrail and declared war on WCW.
Mm-hmm.
And from that point on, it's like WWE and WCW were trying to top one another. And I think that just gave us arguably like just top-notch programming for years. And truth be told, who would have ever thought that Hulk Hogan going heel would be like, I actually prefer Hollywood Hulk Hogan over red and yellow Hulk Hogan.
I do too, even though I hate him. I do too.
But yeah, I mean, just they were the catalyst for the best era in professional wrestling, period. Huge merchandise sellers. I mean, God, like I just said that you couldn't go to a WC or a WWE show without seeing an Austin, a Rock, or a DX shirt. You couldn't go anywhere without seeing an NWO shirt. I mean, and I think the NWO made wrestling cool for people that hadn't watched it in years. Like I remember when the NWO, I was a senior in high school. And everyone went from being like, you were kind of ashamed to admit you were a professional wrestling fan to where like, people throw the too sweet sign at you. Like, wait a minute, that fucking guy likes.
He watches wrestling too?
No shit. Are we friends now? 6 months ago, you were making fun of me because I was rocking a fucking British Bulldog shirt. Now all of a sudden you.
Down here.
Yeah, we actually, when I was in high school, we used to have I think it was a Spirit Rock in the girls' softball field. They used to have this rock, and every year the seniors would paint it something completely different. Well, a couple weeks before school, like the senior class president and like, you know, I don't know what they call them, like the board or, you know, the treasurers and shit like that, went out and spray painted like, you know, class of 97, you know, spray painted, you know, our school colors were blue and gold. And, you know, they did this real nice thing with The Rock. Well, that weekend, me and three of my buddies went to the grocery store, went to Walmart and grabbed a bunch of black and white spray paint and spray painted NWO on that rock all over the fucking, like, they spent like 2 days doing this, and in 3 hours we completely destroyed it with NWO and no one touched it.
That's awesome.
How cool is that? Yes. That like that thing stayed as it had NWO throughout the entire summer. Like no one changed it till like the following school year.
Yes,
that's how you know.
Awesome.
Like that's how you know wrestling is over.
Mm-hmm.
Is when high school kids that would make fun of you are into it all of a sudden. But yeah, I think that like in terms of like how influential they are, they have to be number one.
They have to, like you're saying.
Now, like I wanted to knock them down to 2 simply because WCW started to kill a good thing by adding essentially everybody that was a name on the roster at one point was a member of the NWO. Sting was a member of the NWO.
I remember that.
Which I hated that version of Sting, and that red and black face paint of his is fucking disgusting looking.
See, growing up.
Yeah, Luger was a part of it.
Yeah, Luger, Conan, Nash, and hell, Macho Man at one point, he was red and black. I think he was red and black. Well, yeah, he was red and black.
Yeah, they split him up into the 2 factions, the black or it was NWO Hollywood and then the Wolfpack, and then towards
when they merged, I didn't like that. No,
I didn't either. Like, I think when you think of the NWO, I always think of the core unit, which was Hall, Nash, Hogan, the Giant. What was he in WCW? 6?
Yeah, six. XISIXX. That's 6.
Yeah, and then I think the Big Show was a part of it.
Yes, he was.
And then like Ted DiBiase, and then Bischoff, of course, he was part of it too. But I mean, most of the people they added did not make a lick of sense. Well, Macho Man, I'll throw him in there too. But yeah, I once they started watering it down and adding everybody into it, because realistically, the only person that they added to me that made sense was Scott Steiner. When Scott Steiner joined, like, that's a perfect fit. But then, like, yeah, they had fucking Virgil, and they had Scott Norton.
Do not get me started on him. I hate Virgil. I hate him.
So you didn't root for him when he was fighting the $1 Million Man at WrestleMania 7?
Hell no.
He had Roddy Piper in his corner?
He is, no. Well, see, this is the thing now, real quick. So me growing up, I was in elementary school, getting ready to go to middle school at that time. So I was a big Goldberg fan, and I bounced back and forth between WCW and WWF back at the time, end of the day. And I liked Sting a lot. So when I was like, oh, he went to NWO Black and Red, I like that group right there. And red and black's my favorite colors. And then I remember I used to get a lot of NWO Black and Red stuff, like clothes for Christmas. I remember I had a pullover and it had a wolf on it, and it said NWO Wolfpack on it. He's wearing to school every Wednesday. And I was like, okay, so I guess I'm a Wolfpack fan. And NWO, I mean Black Hollywood, I really didn't care for growing up like that. I was like, yeah,
no,
cool.
When they split them off the 2, like everybody was so pro Wolfpack. I will admit, Wolfpack had the cool theme song too.
Oh, have you tried listening to that today?
I'm sure it's fucking awful.
It's so fucking cringe. I caught myself driving down the road one day. Let me turn this on and hear what it sounds like. I was like, I liked this as a kid. It's like, this is fucking corny. Like, This is ABC rap. What is this?
My son's starting to listen to more hip hop and rap, and I think one day while him and I are in the car, I think I'm gonna play it just to see what he thinks of it.
You got to get that on video.
He's gonna be like, Dad, you're so lame. Dad's becoming officially one of the old whites now.
You got to get that on video.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wolfpack was cool.
Well, then they did that thing where towards the end of WCW, they did NWO 2000 with Jarrett Hart, Steiner, and I forget who else was a part of that. It shows you, like, I quit watching WCW after once they did that cheap ripoff of Jim Ross's that Oklahoma. Like, okay, I'm fucking done. You're making fun of a guy with Bell's palsy. I'm done. You guys are singing to the gutter now.
Vince Russo's ass. It was his fault.
Yeah, and plus, like, at the time too, like, there's a much cooler product that I have to throw a VHS tape in and pray that it comes on at 1:30 in the morning on Sports Time America called ECW that I had really gotten into.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, before we get into like our definitive top 5, who made your honorable mentions list? I know for me it was the Hart Foundation.
Okay.
I had
the original Hart Foundation.
No, the ones from '97. It had it was Davey Boy, Owen Brett, Pillman, and Neidhart.
Okay, I was thinking of
it used to just be Neidhart and Brett.
Who's Natalia's husband?
Oh, Tyson Kidd, and then it was
Kid,
Harry Smith.
Okay, I thought you were talking about that Hart Foundation.
Oh, no. Hart Foundation's always going to have Brett and Jim, and then whoever else. But yeah, the Hart Foundation from '97, the Nation Domination. I had the Freebirds. I had the Triple Threat, which was a faction in ECW, which was the core group was Shane Douglas, Bam Bam Bigelow, and Chris Candido.
Mm-hmm.
I dug those guys. And then I had Evolution in there as well.
So I had mine as Evolution. Evolution, The Brood. Gangrel grew on me over the years. He's a creepy looking dude, but I think he looks goofy as shit right now. Fun fact, did you know he was married to Luna Vachon? I didn't know that.
I did not know that. That is a very fun fact.
I was like, wow, okay.
I'm going to pull that out at work tomorrow. Like, somebody asked me a question, like, hey, did you know Gangrel was married to Luna Vachon? They're probably going to look at me like, who the fuck are those people?
I'll be like, well, you missed out.
I'll just say hop on the cock and watch some old WWE programming. I'm sure I'll get in trouble for saying hop on the cock. But,
sir,
HR
off this right now.
Yeah.
But who was I? I had the Brood, Evolution. No, I thought about LWO, but I was like, no, I don't know. They kind of got corny to me, but. I don't know, man. I think I'd just leave it at those ones right there because like I like groups, but I like tag teams a little bit better than factions because I always feel like factions always had that third guy and he didn't do shit. He was just a hype man, just in the fucking way. I'm like, you get out of here.
Get.
Like, alright, fucking Virgil. Like one day I'm going on the Virgil rant on this podcast. I will tell you how I feel.
I will open up the floor to you.
So I don't understand how a man. I will just say this: I don't understand how a man can get into that business and not want to be, like a champion or get out of somebody's shadow because you've been in DiBiase's shadow your whole damn career. Then you come over to the NWO. You're in their shadows your whole damn career. You ain't done nothing, and then you had the audacity to get into a match with the fuck did he fight? Was it Stevie Ray or damn I forgot. He had a one-on-one match with somebody. Was in there getting his ass beat. He does the same shit all the time. It's just a straight one strike, and then he'll hit you with an elbow and then a stomp. He only knows 3 fucking moves. I was like, dude, you're fucking. Fuck you, Virgil.
Now, I will say, in defense of Virgil, he has birthed a very funny internet meme. I don't know if it's still a thing, but it was a few years ago. Like, where he's
on that side. I've seen it.
sitting at a table by himself at a wrestling convention. Like, no one's in line to meet him. I think those are so funny. Sometimes I'll look him up just to get a chuckle.
Randy the Rams was more popular than him.
Well, I think our DX, the Horsemen, and the NWO are in our top 5 since both of us named them. So we got to try to get the last 2 down. I personally am okay putting the Nation of Domination in there simply because I consider that the birth of The Rock. Mm-hmm. I'm okay putting them in that list. But we have the Shield, the Undisputed Era, or the Ministry of Darkness for that 5th spot. I will go with the Shield simply because
I was winning towards the Shield, man.
Simply because
those guys are big.
Yeah, those guys are running. Like, actually, 2 of them are the champions of the 2 biggest promotions in North America. So
I think I'd have to go with the Shield.
Okay.
And it honestly kind of, sometimes I think about it, I'm like, man, that kind of sucks. I missed out on that shit. Like, that was cool.
Well, if you have the cock,
which we do,
you can watch it whenever you like.
Yeah, I was like, oh, they look kind of cool, you know.
If you're gonna watch it, don't watch so much of the reunion stuff because I don't think it's quite as good as it was during the early going from the time they debuted until they broke up. That's prime stuff right there because they ended up feuding with Cena for a while. That was really good. Then they did the stuff with Evolution and.
Oh, how did they slip my mind? And I was actually going to wear that shirt just for you on the show. Do you mind if I go grab it real quick?
Hey, go right ahead, man.
Dude, I was actually, wow.
Will has briefly left the podcast to go show me a cool shirt that he forgot about. I don't know how long this is going to take, so shouldn't be too long. But, a lot of great wrestling factions out there. Okay, he's back. That didn't take long at all.
I got the gold right here. How? We didn't mention this. We didn't mention this group at all.
Oh, you have a Nexus shirt?
Yes, I do.
Holy shit. I forgot all about Nexus.
Yeah. I'm like, how did we miss this faction? Hell, this is where Bray Wyatt came from.
And, well, Daniel Bryan, too. Even though he was a huge Ring of Honor star, it didn't make a lot of sense that they debuted him as like a nobody. But
yeah,
the only reason I didn't have them on my list is because they could have been huge and the WWE shit the bed with them.
You think so when they added Punk or before that?
Well, when they were feuding with Cena, really. It's just like the whole stuff with Cena and like just kind of killed him.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, they birthed a lot of big stars out of the faction, but I just think that it could have been better if – I just think that they built them up and they could have been very special, but then they like I said, they shit the bed on them.
So they fumbled the bag.
Yeah. Yeah, they fumbled it bad. Hey, kudos though for having a fucking Nexus shirt. Like, I don't have any more wrestling stuff. I'm very sad about that.
Yeah, when we moved, I was digging. I was like, oh my God. I was like, a Nexus t-shirt. I was like, okay.
That's coming. That's coming to the new place. Yeah, my whole t-shirt wardrobe is seriously either metal band shirts or wrestling shirts. We went to a music festival last weekend called Louder Than Life, and I was rocking the Love That Danhausen or Be Cursed. And then I had my Adam Hangman Page shirt I was wearing one day too.
I'm glad to know that you were still attending Louder Than Life. I am still glad to know that you are attending that.
Oh, dude, that was a hell of a good time. Apparently, Darby Allin was crowd surfing during the rapper Ghostmane's set.
So he was there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because I seen somebody wearing an AEW shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's kind of odd, but okay, cool. So I said, it was actually when I was wearing my Hangman shirt. I was like, hey, cool shirt, dude. And he's like, oh, thanks, man. Like yours too. The old white guy.
Darby Allin was there. Wow. I could see him there too.
Yeah, there's pictures of him. He was crowd surfing in a body bag.
What in the hell? That guy. Okay then.
My son loves him though. He thinks he's super cool. That's the one guy he'll sit and watch when he's on AEW's Darby Allin. Plus he's got fucking Sting with him, so that already gives him bonus points.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got our 5 now, right? We're going with the NWO, DX, the Horsemen, the Shield, and the Nation of Domination.
Do that.
I would say for me, the Shield would be number 5. Simply because we had to decide who was the 5th. Well, the 5th would be between the Nation of Domination and the Shield, since those are the 2 that we had to decide getting into the top 5.
I think if I had to go that route, just because The Rock is my favorite wrestler, I think I would put the Shield at 5.
Yeah, I was going to say, the Shield would be, I would probably say number 5 too. Grant, those guys have all been super successful. They're pretty much, like I said, top stars of the industry now. But, number 4 has the, that's an interesting debate between who is, I would say Austin was slightly bigger than The Rock during the Attitude Era, but not by much. If that's telling you anything, that's how big that era was.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, Mark Henry goes on to be a future multi-world champion in WWE too.
Yeah, he did.
I forgot. You always forget about him, and then he ends up being a WWE Hall of Famer. Ron Simmons is in WWE Hall of Fame too.
Not so much D'Lo Brown, though. I wonder why.
He was a competent, mid-card competitor, but with Mark Henry, he was still,
Did he get to the Hall of Fame?
I think the Nation is in, but I don't think he's in as a solo performer. And then Kama, who's now the Godfather, is in too, but he's in more as the Godfather than he was for the Nation stuff.
Yeah, I like the Godfather and the whole train.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the day I have to watching some old Attitude Era stuff, and I have to explain Val Venus and the Godfather to my kid. Well, that should be coming up sooner rather than later. But okay, so we've got, as the definitive Couch Potato Podcast best wrestling factions of all time, we've got the Shield at 5. We've got the Nation of Domination at 4. Who will be number 3?
From both of our lists.
So essentially we've got DX, the Horsemen, and the NWO. I think number 1 is pretty much
I think that's NWO. Yeah.
So
I think I would put DX right there then at 3. I think I would.
3?
Yeah. Well, no. I think, okay, hold on. I think I would put the Horsemen there because DX, like you said, that did spawn the Attitude Era, and that was a big deal with me growing up. So I think I would do 4 Horsemen 3.
Yeah, I was probably going to go that too, just simply because, for one thing, I don't really remember the classic Horsemen from the early 80s, a little before my time when I was watching wrestling, so I don't really know too much of their impact outside of what I've seen on, the Cock or on DVD or stuff like that. Still influential. They're still the OGs of the wrestling faction business. Still one of the best to ever do it. The leaders, arguably the greatest wrestler of all time, depending on who you ask. But I think outside of them spawning these stables and factions, I don't think their impact is as great as 1 and 2 will be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say the Horsemen are 3. So then we'll slide DX into 2, and then the NWO is number 1.
I agree with that list.
Pretty good list, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we did it.
I agree with that. I'm on board with that list.
So all you other podcast and wrestling sheets and websites, you have your definitive wrestling factions. You guys can fucking suck it because the best list is right here.
Hey, they're actually going to be on Raw next Monday.
Yeah, I seen that. I've seen some stuff on the old Twitter about how they're going to contain the "Scissor Me Daddy" chants for Billy Gunn.
Man, I love that. I love that. Did you see? You saw the picture. If anybody hasn't seen it, if you get to see I think they call it a vignette of the picture of the DX coming back. Shawn Michaels looks senile. I don't know what the hell he's looking at. I said, man, this dude was like growing up. I was like, he was not cockeyed like that growing up. But the older he gets, the farther that high goes. And I'm like, what the hell's going on?
The most shocking thing I've ever seen in terms of like a wrestler getting older is like you expect him to put on some weight. You expect him to be much slower. But when I seen Shawn Michaels without his hair.
On his ball.
I was like, what the fuck happened? Not Shawn Michaels. And you knew he was there because like you'd see like when he'd wrestle, you'd see like you'd see the dead grass on the infield, But yeah, when he had his hair, like he shaved it bald for that match at Crown Jewel, I'm like,
what the hell is that?
No, you can't do the Heartbreak Kid like this.
I wonder what the hell he's doing right now. That guy.
He runs NXT pretty much. Him and I think he's
Triple
like
H.
Well, Triple H is the head of basically creative at WWE. But yeah, Shawn Michaels is running NXT right now.
So Shawn Michaels took over Triple H's old spot. It sounds like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, before we end this, because we're running a little over on time. First off, you said that you're going to be getting into the podcasting game here soon, right?
Yeah, that's the word on the street. It's still a thought, but I'm leaning towards it heavily happening. So
I think you should.
Just be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, be on the lookout for that. I'll plug the shit out of it too. Because I'm sure you'll be much better at this than I am. So then I can kind of piggyback on that. Like, oh, well, Will's got this awesome podcast. His buddy's got this shitty one. But he's been on it before, so.
Oh, yeah. He said, I will gladly bring you over, man. Gladly bring you over there. We'll talk about some stuff. Wrestling for sure.
Yeah. Anything you want to add before we wrap this bad boy up tonight?
Yeah, I would just say for your audience, expect to we'll hear from you a lot more because I'll be around.
Yep.
I know there'll be some stuff we can talk about.
Yeah,
very clean winning that belt, which I'm still happy about.
I got a lot of positive feedback about you being on the show, and I know the first time was a long time coming. So yeah, we'll definitely be bringing you back more often.
All right,
like I said, if anything, it's just to spike my ratings.
Yeah.
If anything, it's for my own personal benefit and to talk to you too. So, all right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for today. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at couchbrotatopodcast. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. Get all the latest show updates. Post a lot of stuff about wrestling, sports, movies, music, whatever. So be sure to follow us on there. You can find us wherever you get podcasts. So be sure to listen and subscribe so you don't miss out on a single episode of what has been called by critics as the worst podcast on the internet. So you don't want to miss out on that. So we will talk to you guys later. Bye, everybody. And that will do it for today's episode. We hope you guys and gals enjoyed what you heard. Be sure to follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter to get all the latest show updates. If you did like what you heard today, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. We drop episodes each and every Tuesday, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on a single episode of the Couch Potato Podcast. So until next Tuesday, we will talk to you guys later.